Hi guys, welcome and thank you for returning to this channel and spending your time with me. Some of you may have noticed that I sounded a little croaky yesterday. Indeed, my voice is taking strain. I'm usually very quiet when I'm not making videos, but the last few days I had to do revision with Dragon Man, had a gardener in winter town running errands, had people around, and then yesterday, on top of all of that, my brain went on holiday and left me behind. I recorded the video the first time, but on playback found that it was far too soft. I found that I did not plug my microphone in properly. Okay, so redo. I went through the entire recording the second time around, almost flawless, except that I did not press the record button. The third time, I barely had a voice, and I squeaked and barked my way through. I think my voice is affected by stress, as I do not even have a sore throat, just a tightness. So I'll do what I can and will likely have to cut more than I get to keep. Okay, so what have I missed while I was distracted by the state visit? Yes, SABC kindly filmed most of it for us. I don't watch television, but I logged in on my laptop and waited for President Ramaphosa to slip up. But he didn't and seemed to enjoy it a little, and he was quite relaxed, and the man was well and appropriately dressed. But I am still waiting for our journalists to give us the backstories, which I'm guessing we'll see in the Sunday papers. So today we'll continue with the Montecito couple. And as always, it is Meghan Markle or Rachel Ragland who forces herself into our presence. I did not have the time to listen to Rachel's podcast this week, and quite frankly, I don't think I could have stomached it either. Every person has his or her limit. My limit also did not extend to reading the transcript, but I did read a rather lengthy article on the last podcast, so I'm just going to comment on that. Well, in the podcast, Megan was basically talking about slut shaming. In her opinion, a woman's sensuality and sexuality can be used against her. Well, yes, if you abuse your sensuality and sexuality like Megan did, it can and it will. If you sleep your way up the social ladder, it would not be strange when people laugh at you behind your back. In Megan's opinion, if a man is a player, he is often celebrated and heralded. No, he is not. If a man sleeps his way up the totem pole, he too will get the side eye. If a man sows his wild oats too often, too far, and too wide, he too will be shunned by decent women. According to Megan, a woman's sexual journey will stick with her like glue. Well, yes, Megan's mother should have told her that. And that is why people are discreet and do not flaunt themselves in the media every day. But discretion and being discreet is not in Megan's vocabulary and a concept she does not understand, and therefore she continuously draped herself over every man she was photographed with. I think by now it is clear to all of us that Megan used her podcast to hit back at everyone and everything she had been called in her lifetime. Unfortunately for her, you can fight back and hit back as much as you want to. But if there is photographic evidence to the contrary, it just is what it is. Luckily, this was her second to last podcast in the series, so only one more, and then we are done for now. Will they renew her contract and will she be back? Maybe, if the offer is good enough. But with the ratings on archetypes dropping episode by episode, I do not think Spotify's next offer, if there even is one, will be as lucrative as the first one. Personally, and this is just my guess, I think Rachel is already moving on, and at this point, God alone knows what that will be. It appears the Jimmy Fallon appearance is now off and not to happen anytime soon. Thank God for small mercies. Then, a day or two ago, Gloria Steinem had an interview with People magazine, and in the interview, she called Megan a great human being and said that Megan is different from the picture of her in the media and that she is smart, funny, and devoted to social issues. Well, do we care what Gloria Steinem says? We all know how charming Megan can be, how manipulative, and how she can gaslight people. I'm sure that if you are her flavor of the month, you will think she is the bee's knees. Just a pity that to date, many of those people who thought Megan was the greatest thing since choc chip cookies found out that when they were no longer of use to her, she was not that great or that loyal. Or what am I saying? Jessica Mulroney, Trevor Ingleton, and many others. Anyway, guys, I'm still really ticked off by that Kennedy Award and did my due diligence and informed Kerry Kennedy of her folly. What bothers me is the lack of action from the palace. Do they in any way realize how bad this makes them look? How weak, how embarrassing. By not reacting or acting against this atrocity, it makes the royal family look as if they have something to hide. However, I'm grateful to see that Parliament and the House of Lords are actually weighing in on the Counsellors of State issue. I am in total agreement with some of them that seeing that amendments have to be made to add Princess Anne and Prince Edward, they can just as well make amendments to serve as a long-term solution. There was a suggestion that an amendment is made to exclude family members who had not been active working members of the royal family for a year or longer. However, reading through the transcript, I can also see the loophole in that and why other members would prefer the likes of Prince Andrew and Harry excluded by name. You see, what is the definition of a working royal? And how many events do they have to attend? How many charities do they have to serve? Etc., etc., has never before been defined. So, in effect, Harry could argue that he is still a working royal. Firstly, he is still on the royal website, along with all the other working royals. Secondly, he did attend his grandfather and grandmother's state funerals. Thirdly, he did attend the Jubilee, and fourthly, he does support charities such as Invictus and Well Child, even though those are not royal charities. But again, there are no rules or legislation to define a working royal. So, will the king get what he wants and get to keep his son as Counsellor of State? Or will Parliament decide against it and insist on Harry and Andrew being removed? We don't know yet, but I hope that common sense will prevail and that this Kennedy Award will be the final straw which breaks the camel's back, and that Parliament will realize how damaging Harry and Meghan's narrative is, not only to the royal family, but to Britain as a whole. Okay, guys, now next week will be a lot easier on me. The exams are nearly over. The Christmas market is on Saturday. So, as from Tuesday, old Bookworm will be as free as a bird. And I have so much I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about Prince Andrew a bit more. I want to talk to you about Diana and James Hewitt. And I was gifted the book Courtiers by Valentine Lowe by a very dear subscriber. And as I make my way through that book, I would like to talk to you a little about the contents of the book and some of the gossip I received and collected over the years. I intend to take a break from the royals between Christmas and New Year and just sleep late or travel a little and get some sun on my creaky bones. So, with that in mind, I promise you that as from next week, I'm going to pack in as much as I can until and up until Christmas. Anyway, guys, so short one from me for today, but hopefully, if all goes well, I will see you again over the weekend. So until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.